up, y'all? Soul here, and welcome back to the story mode. Now, this is gonna be kind of a different video. Instead of me discussing something in particular, I'm actually asking for a little bit of a favor, some help on something. I've had this idea for a very long time now, since before Pokemon Legends actually, however, I just wasn't sure how I should go about it. Now, inevitably, they're going to be announcing something in February. I have absolutely no idea what that's gonna be, and I can speculate night and day, and I'm probably going to speculate night and day, but whatever they do announce, we'll be talking about in depth for certain. However, for these next coming months, I want to do a better job of really taking care of this channel, and that includes doing content that isn't quite the norm here. You get what I'm getting at? At the end of the day, this has really become kind of a news and discussion channel where we just kind of go over what Pokemon has presented to us, and if we like it or not, and how they could maybe do better in the future. And that's all fine and dandy. I enjoy doing news and discussions and things like that. I wouldn't have been going as long as I have if I didn't. Unfortunately though, as I'm sure a lot of you have seen by now, when things get quiet with Pokemon, I kinda get quiet because there's not a lot for me to do. And that's something I literally have to change up. As I stated a moment ago, they're definitely going to be announcing something in February, and whatever they do announce, we're probably not going to receive the biggest thing from that announcement until like the middle of this year or the end of this year. And so in between those times where we've already talked in depth about whatever information we received and then it goes quiet for a little while, there's a couple of projects that I'd like to partake in. The other projects I'm sure we'll talk about soon enough, but for this project specifically, I would like to see if it's possible to beat Pokemon Scarlet and Violet with only Shinx. Now this isn't the craziest thing ever or anything like that. This is actually a very common challenge that people do, usually referred to as a solo run. Shinx is our Lord and Savior and also the channel's mascot, so it would be criminal for me to do a solo run with any Pokemon but Shinx. Now, challenge runs aren't unfamiliar to me or anything like that. I've done one on the channel before, and I do challenge runs in my off time all the time. However, they're mostly in the form of Nuzlockes and Soul Links and stuff, so, you know, a solo run is kinda new to me, which is why I need a little bit of help when it comes to this one specifically. So, how in the world are we gonna go about doing a solo run in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet with only Shinx? The first thing that we need to discuss is the rules that I'm gonna have to abide by when I play through this. And you would think that those rules are pretty simple, right? We would only use Shinx and we wouldn't evolve him, and since we don't have the need for HM slaves anymore, there's absolutely no reason to ever have any other Pokemon on your team whatsoever. I think that makes sense. However though, is that really enough as far as limitations go? Good God, I feel like I'm going to regret even pitching this, but we should probably talk about it. Now, like I said, I already won't be evolving it. However, what else should there be in place here? Should there be a very strict level cap? Should I be allowed at all to do any form of raids? And how strict should we be when it comes to item usage? I'm just curious as to what you guys think as to how strict we should be with this challenge run. I want to hear any and all suggestions when it comes to how challenging you would want this series to be. I will take all discussions, I'll write them all down, keep them nice and organized for us, and then I'll discuss it with the other paws of Shinx and see what the most likely and best course of action is when it comes to, you know, how difficult things look. I think the easiest place for me to be able to keep track of those suggestions would be in my Discord when I open up the Shinx Solo Runs channel. And I say solo runs plural because obviously this is not going to be the only time that I try this if things go well. And I do have a couple of rules and ideas that I'll be pitching over there if you guys want to check those out, but I'm totally down to hear your guys' ideas if you want to modify them, if you want to change them up completely, and we can just go from there and really figure out and solidify how we're going to go about this challenge. Now, the other primary thing that I wanted to ask for your guys' opinion on is how you guys would like this series to be presented to you. Now, like I said, I wanted to do this while Pokemon Legends was out, but I wasn't sure how to go about it or how I should ask, and while attempting to figure that out, they had announced 9th Gen already, so all of my focus pretty much went towards that for the remainder of the year, as you guys saw. However though, now that we're in post-era for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, we now have an entirely new generation that we can try this challenge out with. Now my question to you is, how would you want to watch this? So far, I've assembled about 3 different ways that we could present this series. The first idea I had is loosely based off of a very basic Let's Play style. In this format, I would specifically provide live commentary and very minimal editing to the episodes. It would just be me playing the game and just doing the challenge from episode to episode. Fun fact, I was a very basic Let's Play channel up until about 2 years ago. So obviously this is a style that I'm very familiar with, and I can promise you it's a fun time, it's a chill time, and I can get this one out to you almost as much as you guys want. Maybe like 3 times a week, maybe more if you guys really want that kind of thing. Each episode could be about 25-30 minutes of me just rummaging through as hard as I possibly can, trying to get to the end of the game with only Shanks. The second idea that I had would be a post-commentary style. In this style, I would record the gameplay with no commentary, but when I put it in editing, I would be watching it along with you guys. So it's almost as if we're reacting to whatever's happening on screen together, and I would be talking about my thoughts during that time, or maybe I would be confused as to why I made certain decisions and things like that in the aftermath. I don't know, I feel like it could be a very chill time, and if you guys like hearing me in the background, I feel like this is probably one of the more chill options to go with. Much like option 1, I could set a schedule for that and I could post that as many times as you guys want throughout the week. Now option 3 is very different from the other two. Idea 3 would be somewhat of a heavily edited Storytime series. This was a style I've seen done before with the Ditto challenges and stuff like that. I don't know who did it. If I can find his name, I'll put it up on the screen so that you guys can see the example that I'm talking about here. But seeing that such a long time ago, I thought that that would be super fun to do with a Pokemon of my choice, and I would always see it with Ditto and much more popular Pokemon generally speaking, so doing it with Shinx would be very unorthodox. But anyway, during this heavily edited Storytime series, I would be scripting out the actions that I took with more heavier edits and, really just tap into my flair for the dramatic, you know what I mean? Now this is a much bigger version of the project, and I would be down to do it, however, this one would definitely take me a little bit more time. Since this would definitely demand a little more time in the editing department, I can only promise about maybe once a week, maybe twice a week on a very good week. Because, like I said, the regular style of content that I do isn't going anywhere, but because this would also be more demanding, it would take time away from those other videos as well, so, just saying. At the end of the day though, this all comes down to you guys. To me personally, it does not matter how you guys would prefer to have this presented to you, because I think that we're gonna have a good time with it, regardless of how it's put out. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave that one completely up to you guys. Tell me what you're thinking in the comment section below, and I'm also gonna be opening up a community tab, and you could vote there, and maybe we'll decide based on that. And I'll also be opening up somewhat of a poll situation on my Discord if you want to join there and actually talk to me directly about it. But Soul, I didn't want to watch it in video format. Why in the world aren't you doing it in live stream format? Because frankly, that's a little hard to do right now, to be completely honest with you. My current living situation only really allows for me to stream or do any form of loud content at night. And I gotta tell you, streaming at the dead of night isn't really doing it for anybody. I was able to take a couple of liberties and make an exception for our initial live stream playthrough, but as of right now, that's gonna be kind of hard to do a second time. Now, that isn't to say that live streams are completely kaput. I'll get back to them at some later date, just not now. Now, I run on Pacific Standard Time, and I know that for a couple of you, that's totally fine to watch streams at late at night and stuff like that, and hey, I'm totally down to do nightly streams and stuff like that every now and again, but they would probably just be little tiny one-off streams for now until I can get a better setup so that we could do some bigger, more grander live streams in the future. So for anybody that's wondering why I haven't really been live streaming in general, well, there you go. I promise you, it's not necessarily because I don't want to, but more so because I can't do it the way that I want to do it. And with that, I have pretty much told you all of the details necessary to start up this discussion on how we're going to go about this solo run for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet with only Shinx. Again, don't feel bad about making your own suggestions if you don't like the ones that were presented here. I think that either way, no matter how we do this, it's going to be a hell of a time, and I'm very much looking forward to doing this project. And I keep calling it a project per se because in reality, it is kind of a project to really help the channel do more. You know what I mean? We've been very stiff with how we've done things on the channel. We need to do more, and I want to ease us into that a little bit, starting with the kind of gameplay style projects like this one here, but I also have plenty of other ideas in different directions for Pokemon media as well. For example here, as a little teaser kind of, I wanted to start a little series where I talk specifically about each volume of the current ongoing Pokemon manga. Because I haven't read all of it, and I don't even remember the little bit that I did read. But I will say, I do remember that I was very impressed by what I did read. And that's just one of the few things I have in mind, and I do want to do general content on like other games and other media as well, but we're probably not going to do that here. So, you know, if you want to know more about that little side project, you can go ahead and stay tuned for me. So that just about wraps it up for the entirety of this video here. Like I said earlier, this will not at all in any way, shape, or form disrupt the regular style of content that we do here. I still have plenty of things that I want to discuss in depth regarding, you know, Pokemon Scarlet Violet, the future of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's DLC, what's to come next after, and you already know we're going to be talking like crazy when discussing the Gen 5 remix, so make sure you stick around for that. This is simply for anybody that's interested, so you know, go ahead and let me know. So again, just think of this as the little filler in between the times where Pokemon goes quiet, because inevitably they will. There's absolutely no stopping that. We're gonna have a very hard downtime for Pokemon. I'm thinking especially this year. I don't know why, it's just a gut feeling, but we'll have to see how, you know, that all plays out, because I could be wrong. But anyway, that just about does it for me. What are you guys thinking? Are you down for this challenge? Would you like it one different way or another? You know, from the ways that I presented, or do you have your own idea of how you would like this series to be presented to you? Tell me everything you guys are thinking in the comment section below, because you know for a fact that I'm always down there with you guys. But with that in mind, looking at my little watchy watch here, it do be skedaddle o'clock. I don't have a watch. So on that note, I'd like to thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and consider subscribing for more content just like this here. And with that, I'm gone. So thanks again, hope you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor of taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time.